Big news is shaking up the basketball world, and this one could rewrite history. A massive Saudi-backed league is reportedly preparing to make a $50 million offer to none other than Caitlin Clark. Yes, $50 million for one player. What started as whispers has exploded into a full-scale operation called Project B, a bold movement that could redefine women's basketball as we know it. To understand why this matters so much, you have to look at the current storm inside the WNBA. Tension is boiling. Stars like Nafisa Collier have been openly challenging Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, frustrated with how physical and punishing the league has become. Collier's frustration reached new heights after a brutal playoff injury, a hit many labeled a Bush League play by Alyssa Thomas. And it's not just about on-court clashes. The league is also heading into heated CBA negotiations, the kind that can make or break the future of the sport. The timing of this Saudi offer? Absolutely explosive. This brings us to Caitlin Clark and the bruising season she just survived. Anyone who followed her rookie year knows it wasn't just tough basketball. It was an all-out war. Clark took hit after hit, constant hard fouls, relentless double teams, and moments that looked more like wrestling matches than defense. The level of physicality had fans and analysts alike wondering if she'd eventually look for an escape route. For while the buzz was real, maybe Clark would leave the WNBA for Unrivaled, the new 3x3 league co-founded by Nafisa Collier and Breanna Stewart. It sounded tempting. Shorter games, less grind, and way more control for players. But that talk quickly cooled off, because a much bigger storm is brewing. Enter Project B, a Saudi-backed global basketball league that's now making serious noise across the sports world. What began as whispers on social media quickly turned into a very real, well-funded operation with a bold vision to rival or even surpass the WNBA and NBA's global influence. At first, many dismissed it as a wild rumor. The idea of a brand new league powerful enough to lure top stars away from established institutions sounded impossible. But as details surfaced, that skepticism vanished. Turns out, Project B has been quietly in development for more than 2 years. Early on, Maverick Carter, yes, LeBron James' longtime business partner, was attached as a consultant. That connection alone sent shockwaves through the sports industry. For months, insiders whispered about a league so ambitious it could create an entirely new era of professional basketball, one that blurred the lines between the NBA, WNBA, and international play. Carter's since stepped away from the project, which caused a little confusion, but make no mistake, the league is moving forward full speed. The man at the helm now is Grady Burnett, a former executive at both Google and Facebook, and he's not thinking small. Burnett co-founded Project B and has made it clear that this isn't just a sports league, it's a global entertainment empire in the making. In a recent interview with The Athletic, Burnett said the growth in women's sports right now rivals anything happening in AI, calling it truly majestic. His goal? To turn Project B into a multi-billion-dollar industry, starting with the women's game. Yes, they're launching with women first. A men's version is reportedly in the works for as early as next fall, and some even speculate that LeBron James himself could join the men's tour after retirement. But for now, the spotlight belongs to women's basketball, and it's shining brighter than ever. Here's how it will work. Project B isn't built like the traditional leagues we know. It's being described as a worldwide women's basketball tour. 6 teams, 11 players per roster, just 66 total spots in the entire league, making it one of the most exclusive setups in professional sports. Instead of the typical home and away grind, Project B will feature 7 high-profile, 2-week tournaments staged in elite cities across Asia, Europe, and the Americas. The league's global headquarters will be based in Singapore, with the inaugural season running from November through April. And here's the genius part. That timeline doesn't conflict with the WNBA season. In theory, players like Caitlin Clark could play in both leagues. But there's a catch. It would directly overlap with Unrivaled, Collier and Stewart's new league, setting the stage for a battle of new age basketball empires. Then comes the real game changer, the money. Project B's funding comes straight from the Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund, funneled through their entertainment company, Tsila. Sound familiar? It should. It's the exact same strategy used to launch LIV Golf, the league that flipped the PGA Tour upside down by offering players staggering contracts. They're planning to do it again with basketball. One insider said it best: the people behind this league have unlimited funds. To paint a picture, a story circulated that when Lil Wayne performed in Saudi Arabia, a minor airport issue led organizers to apologize by gifting him a Lamborghini. That's the level of wealth driving Project B. And now, that same force is reportedly preparing to drop a $50 million offer to lure Caitlin Clark, an offer big enough to shake the foundations of women's basketball forever. That's the level of wealth we're dealing with, a type of money that doesn't just chase profits, it buys influence. The people behind Project B aren't trying to break even in year one. They're prepared to lose hundreds of millions just to make a splash and build a global brand. Some call it sports washing, a way for Saudi Arabia to reshape its public image through sports. But for the players, all that geopolitical talk fades into the background, because what this really means is life-changing money. According to co-founder Grady Burnett, the salaries on the table are multiples higher than anything that exists in professional sports right now, not just basketball. We're talking about contracts that could reach $50 million. Let that number sink in: $50 million for one player. One report offered a jaw-dropping example. A WNBA athlete making around $150,000 per season could be offered $1.5 million from Project B, 10 times her current salary. And take someone like Paige Buchers, who's projected to earn roughly $100,000 for each of her first 4 seasons in the WNBA. How could she possibly say no if Project B dangled $10 to $20 million? The average salary in this new league is expected to hover around $1 million, with a minimum deal near $300,000. And here's the kicker: there's no salary cap. That's why Project B is being seen as a direct existential threat to the WNBA. The league simply can't compete with those numbers. And the timing couldn't be worse. The WNBA is heading into a tense collective bargaining agreement negotiation, and one of its goals is to push for player exclusivity, meaning athletes couldn't play in other leagues. But how can you enforce exclusivity when another organization is offering 10, 20, even 100 times the salary? To make matters more precarious, nearly every WNBA veteran not locked into a rookie-scale deal will become a free agent this offseason. That means the door is wide open for Project B to swoop in and steal away top talent. And they've already started. This isn't a concept for someday. It's happening right now. Reports confirm that Project B has begun negotiations with current WNBA stars, and multiple players have already signed contracts. Their identities are still under wraps, but insiders say the deals are finalized. To cement credibility, the founders have assembled a who's who of sports icons. The league's chief basketball officer will be Alana Beard, a 4-time WNBA All-Star. Alongside her are powerhouse investors and advisors: WNBA legend Candace Parker, NFL Hall of Famer Steve Young, and tennis superstars Novak Djokovic and Sloane Stephens. This isn't some experimental off-season project. This is a global sports powerhouse in the making. But at the center of this revolution stands one name: Caitlin Clark. Everyone inside the industry agrees. Project B's success depends on her. If they land Clark, the league becomes an instant global phenomenon. If they don't, it's an uphill battle. That's why the $50 million figure keeps surfacing around her name. She holds more leverage than any player in the history of women's basketball, maybe even more than any athlete has ever held at this stage of a career. Clark could command a Cristiano Ronaldo-style deal, not just a massive salary, but potentially an equity stake in the league itself. Her influence runs so deep that she could essentially build her own super team. Imagine her agent sitting across the table from Project B's executives saying, Caitlin will sign, but she wants Aya Wilson, Sabrina Ionescu, Aaliyah Boston, and Angel Reese in the league too. Project B could make it happen easily. They could offer Aya Wilson $5 million to play in the offseason, and Angel Reese, who reportedly made about $500,000 from Unrivaled, could see an offer 10 times higher. The money is so astronomical, it's nearly impossible to refuse. But for Clark, it's not just about the paycheck. Project B plays 5-on-5 basketball, her natural game. Unlike the 3x3 format of Unrivaled, this league gives her the full court spotlight, the global exposure, and the creative freedom she thrives on. She wouldn't just be another player. She'd be the face of a worldwide movement, a generational talent leading the charge into a new era. And timing-wise, it's perfect. The season would run from November through April, meaning she could technically stay active in both leagues if she chose. The global tournament format would allow her to expand her brand internationally, reaching fans in Asia, Europe, and beyond. For a player already dominating highlight reels and social media algorithms, the idea of global superstardom is a natural next step. Recently, fans noticed Clark on social media congratulating her teammate Aaliyah Boston on her All-WNBA selection, a reminder that her roots with the Indiana Fever still run deep. But behind the scenes, the entire basketball world is waiting for her next move. Will she remain loyal to the WNBA, the league that helped make her a household name, or will she accept the unprecedented $50 million offer from Project B and become the face of a global revolution? Either way, her decision will reshape the future of women's basketball. The stakes couldn't be higher. One path keeps her in familiar territory, chasing titles, growing the WNBA's visibility, and carrying the league she helped revitalize. The other path is uncharted. Bigger paychecks, global expansion, and the chance to define a new era of professional sports. So what should she do? Is Project B the future, or a potential threat to everything women's basketball has built? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. One thing's for sure, this story is only getting started, and it's about to change the game forever. If you want every update as this unfolds, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because whatever Caitlin Clark decides next, it's going to shake the sports world to its core.